Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Sipping Wealth Live. Hello, I hope everyone's having an amazing Tuesday. So today is going to be a special Sipping Wealth Live because I do have a guest with me. But before we jump into that, for those of you that are tuned in, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell on the Sipping Wealth YouTube channel and go ahead and hit the share button so that your friends, families, loved ones, all that good stuff could wealth up with us. And all right, let's go ahead and jump right into it. I'm going to invite our guest speaker up so we can have this chat. But before I invite her up, she is a realtor in Jacksonville, Florida, and she is also a real estate investor as well, with an upcoming event this Sunday. So I wanted to make sure that I bring her on. So give me one second. Let me go ahead and bring her on stage. Drum roll, please. All right. Kiara?
Hi, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Do I have on this thing correctly? I tested my camera. It should be.
Oh,
We got technical difficulties.
no worries, no worries.
Okay, give me just a second.
No problem. All right, y'all. So while we're getting that situated, if you're tuned in with us, go ahead and drop a comment in the comment section. Go ahead and say, "Hey, girl," whatever you want, so that we know who's tuned in with us on this amazing Tuesday. Right. Let me make sure this is. Uh-oh.
So while we're trying to get everything together, I guess I'll introduce myself. So my name is Kiara Reeves. I'm actually a native of Hampton, Virginia. My father, he was in the army, so they went all these nice places and somehow ended up in Virginia. I'm like, man, out of all the places y'all traveled, this is where you decided to stay. But no, I liked it there, and so I grew up and eventually joined the Navy. So I served for 6 years in the Navy as a gunner's mate. And after being in the Navy active duty, I decided to do some IT. So I'm sitting at my desk one day and scrolling through some Facebook groups, and I'm like, wow, like all these women talking about flipping houses and,
Hmm.
just doing things involved in real estate. Oh, I got it. One second. Okay, can you see me? Is that
Okay. Let me take that one off.
There we
There you
go.
go.
Okay, so I'm sorry about that, but I was scrolling through these Facebook groups and everything, and I'm like, if these women are flipping houses and wholesaling and doing all this stuff in real estate, I can too. And so growing up, I used to watch a lot of HGTV, and I would be super inspired by people doing the house flipping and everything. I just love the result of what the house looked like in the final product. So um, when I actually saw that, especially there were black women doing it, I was like, wow. Like that really put it into perspective for me. Like if they can do it, then I can. So I started off, I did a couple of cold calls and I got cursed out. I'm like, I don't know if I could do this.
Right. You're like, why are you calling me? I keep getting all these
Yeah,
calls.
they're like, where'd you get my number? I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I don't know if this is my avenue of real estate to start in. So I started doing a little bit more research and I ended up finding out about how you can get funding for a house flip. And I'm like, well, most lenders require 20% down for an investment property, and I didn't have any experience. So
Um,
I didn't have like a really good network of people at the time to depend on. I'm just like, I'm trying to get in there. I don't know where to start, but
right.
I was gonna start somewhere. So I ended up finding a lender, saving up some money and everything, and got into real estate that way. In the same week, which is funny, I started an Airbnb as well through rental arbitrage. So
Okay.
I was able to build my business credit and
Oh, for those that don't know what rental arbitrage is, what is it?
so rental arbitrage is basically when you utilize your corporate entity to obtain a corporate lease through an apartment facility for short-term leasing use. So you can do that, and it's totally legal, especially if, well, a lot of people where they mess up at, they try to do Airbnbs and run it without the property knowing, and that's
Right.
that's not right. So once they find out, they're gonna kick you out, and you have to shut down your entire operation. But it's just a really good thing that that's a real thing. A lot of people think that it's a scam and it's not. So you can really get a corporate lease through rental arbitrage. So I started off that way. Um, Everything was really good in the beginning. You learn a lot, but after some time frame, I had a mentor. She's like, "Do you know how many resources there's available if you just were to get your license?" And I'm like, "Well, tell me more." So she was like, "You can look up your own properties on MLS. You can sell your properties. You can buy them, and you can collect your own commission instead of paying it to someone else." I'm like, "That's a good point." So I started studying, and I got my license. And finally, I was like, "Okay, well, I don't know where to go, where to start." I was really nervous, especially working a 9 to 5, and a lot
How
of.
long ago was this?
So I started back in 2022, and so that first year, I told myself I'm going to quit my job. So I quit my job, and
Hmm.
I tell people that was like the best worst year of my life.
I can believe it. Hmm.
I went through so much, like just starting everything, and um, you never know what you don't know until you make that mistake, and you're never gonna make a $35,000 mistake again until you do it. And you're like, okay, I'm not gonna do that again. You know what I mean? So it was just that whole first year. I did the Airbnb, and I did two house flips, and then the year after that, I had went back to work, and that's when I started doing basically being a realtor. And this year is my first year full time being a realtor and investor. So I'm really
Okay. You
so
said
I
we
quit my
jumping out again.
said I'm gonna start the new year fresh, and I really believe that if we can sacrifice 8 hours a day for somebody else, then we can do that for ourselves and put 100% of the effort in for ourselves if we really want to be successful.
Hmm.
So, um, yeah, I really value time, and I'm just really excited for the growth in the years to come.
I feel that. I feel that. It's awesome. It's a great story. Okay, I see how you got started and everything. So for those of you that are thinking, "Oh, should I do it?" Go ahead and jump at it. You don't have to quit your job that year or anything,
Yeah,
but
I don't
get
recommend
started.
ready, but
Yeah, I think the model. And then, how do you feel about just being in real estate now, having like gone through like those journeys?
honestly, I guess in the beginning, I would say I wouldn't want anybody else to go through it that way, which is funny. But I'm super grateful that I did go through a lot of the things that I went through in the beginning because, for example, a lot of real estate agents, they've never invested before. They try to sell houses to investors, and nothing against my realtor, but there were so many things I noticed after the fact that if she was an investment friendly realtor, she would have been able to help me in certain ways that other realtors aren't. So, um, looking up comps and knowing how to maximize your profit, and yeah, there's a lot of things that I feel like I missed out on my first property. But if I didn't learn those things, I wouldn't know how to best help other investors like me now. And it's just,
Mhm.
I feel like that experience was just really beneficial. I did a lot of the work on my own. I got to see what people go through, pretty much like with general contracting, people being scammers, people stealing deposits, and all the stories you hear are real life stories, and you just kind of think, wow, it could never be me until it is you.
Right. Yeah.
It's not funny when you're crying over a mistake you made. You really have to just get up and figure it out.
Right. Yeah, that's real. Mm-hmm. Okay. Got you. So let's get into some tips and things that people could walk away with. So there's been a lot of talk about the market, whether or not people should buy. Right now, people are holding off on interest rates because they're not used to. After so long, they're not used to interest rates being so high. Um, what is your perspective on the current market? And then what do you think as far as like future projections look like?
So far as the market, I really feel that when it comes to a certain category of people, you're gonna have to move somewhere and live there regardless. So if you want to make an
Oh, your
investment,
voice is
Can you hear me?
okay. Yeah.
Okay. I feel like if you are ready to purchase a house, then you will. And a lot of people, at times, sometimes they don't even know that they will be able to qualify for a house because they're kind of scared of hearing that no. So I feel like if you want that, when you buy a house overall, I think you should look at it as an investment, not just a place to live, because a lot of times life changes, circumstances happen. Me coming from a military background, I know a lot of times people may want to stay in a certain area, but you get orders, you kind of have no choice but to pick up and move. So you're not going to live in that house anymore. At that point, you have to choose whether or not to rent or sell it. So of course, if you rent, you make a profit. If you sell it, you still make a profit. Whereas if you rent, you don't get a profit when you leave, and your security deposit, you may not see that back sometimes. So um, I think that based on our current market, a lot of people are afraid. But I think you really got to pay attention to trends and statistics, how people behave when it comes to demand and pricing and interest rates. So if the interest rate's lower, you know that there's going to be more people that enter the buyer's market. And if you look back to COVID, there were lots of people bidding on houses and paying way over the appraisal amount. They were really
Right.
desperate to get in something that they liked. I even know somebody personally, she bid on like three or four houses, and it took
Mhm.
her until months later to finally find something she liked that she didn't get outbid on. So, and then she was on a month to month lease with her landlord. So they
Whoa.
had increased her rent. It
Okay.
was just, not good overall. So I feel like as long as you educate yourself and you have an exit strategy, it's always a good time to buy. Um, Future predictions, I predict that the interest rates decrease. I can't always say that it'll be favorable, but
Mhm.
um, people seem to think that lower interest rates are always a good thing, which I mean, I'm not mad because I'll just refinance my house, but
Mhm.
but other than that, yeah, I'm seeing like a lot of activity as far as buyers relocating to Florida. A lot of people love the weather, as far as just having the ability to go to the beach pretty much year round, and people just love the feel of the environment here. There's a lot of things to do. Personally, my mother, she moved here a couple years ago, and she's like, for an older woman like me, I want to travel. I want to get out and do things. And Virginia just did not provide that proximity to all the different cities and things that I wanted to do. So
Mhm.
she goes on cruises. She'll go to Orlando. She'll go to Miami. She's like, a ticket from Virginia to Miami was $500, whereas flying from here in Jacksonville will probably be less than $100. And she's like, I'm going on a cruise, and I can, just go to all these different places within Florida and still have a really great time for not a super expensive price. So,
Mhm.
um, yeah, I think Florida is a wonderful place to live for families. It's steadily growing in technology, in health, and even IT. We have like a vast amount of resources here in Jacksonville alone that I feel like a lot of people never tap into because maybe they just haven't met their tribe yet. I feel I'm guilty before when I first started off in real estate. Um, I guess I thought I had to do a lot of things on my own, and
Mhm.
oh, I don't want to share my profit and all this other stuff that people kind of put in your head that make you think it's a bad thing. So after a while, I'm like, you don't have to do it alone. If you know somebody that you can exchange resources with or would like to partner along the way, you don't have to be in real estate alone. A lot of people, even like people that are other realtors, some of them will have like a secret animosity when really if I am the buyer's agent and you're the listing agent, we both have to work together to get this house sold. So you
Right.
should be my friend. You get what I mean?
We should want to work together. Yeah. Should we? Yeah. Should want to partner up,
Hmm.
and it makes it better too. Like especially, I see a lot of realtors come together with even the um, the showings. They'll partner up and do showings together, and partner up on listings as well. So I'm like, okay, there is a community of realtors that do come together.
It
Um,
makes a lot of
do things
sense
like
because when you have that extra help, um, I feel like you're able to handle a higher volume of activity. And let's say I did an open house for somebody and they really couldn't represent themselves. Maybe they had a vacation or maybe they just don't like open houses. I know at some point in time, if I need an open house, I can potentially reach out to them and they would do the same for me just because you've
that.
established that relationship with another realtor. So I think that's always good. You never know who you might need or who has like certain resources that you can call and just, pick their brain and they won't have an issue answering those for you because I strongly believe everybody has their own audience. Like,
Mhm.
you never know who may be your potential client or customer or whoever. So if I'm attracting, a certain group of people. That may not be the same group of people that attract them to you. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
yeah, we're our own biggest critic, but we don't have to compete with other realtors in that sense.
That makes sense. Cool. So, what are some, I guess, tips or pointers that you would give someone that's a homeowner, currently a homeowner, where they can maximize like the value of their home?
So, a couple of things. I would say to make sure you maintain your home. A lot of people they move in and they kind of forget some of those important things, far as like cleaning out your gutters, getting the home power washed, just maintaining cleanliness in the hard to reach areas, baseboards, things like that, that we oftentimes forget about. Another thing is dryer vents. Dryer vents are one of those things that are often forgotten about and cause people fires because they have all this backup lint and whatnot in their house. and it's not good. So that's another thing I feel like people forget about, and also make sure you're maintaining all your warranties and different things for your home. Like some people may forget that they have extended warranties on certain products, so make sure you activate those warranties so that if something goes wrong, you're not paying those out of pocket costs. And
Right.
then another thing, just this is in regards to staging your home when you're actually looking to list. Make sure you're not putting personal property and things around the house. You want people to come by and imagine themselves in the home and, get a good feel of what their home it will look like with their family in it and everything. So, I just think that's another important thing. I've been to plenty of homes where people have like pictures of their dogs and cats
Yeah.
and family members on the wall. And like if I walk into your space and I'm trying to buy it, I'm just thinking about all the stuff that your family did.
Yeah. I'm not trying to sell, clearly. I'm in your house. Excuse me. Yeah.
Let me excuse myself because I don't think you're ready to sell
Yeah,
yet.
I don't think you're ready. Clearly. I'm like, you still got a whole family on the wall? This is weird. No, okay. They would, they would. I remember when I was viewing, when I was home shopping, things like that. Like some people, they didn't move a thing out of sight. Like it was, they were still living there. Everything was in place. Like you got
It
bicycles
looked
and
very
helmets
lived
and
in.
a pantry completely stocked. It was just like everything. I'm like, well, yeah,
Yeah, y'all not planning on moving out at all.
yeah, they are not planning on moving out. It's funny. Okay, okay, some great tips. So I know that you're a real estate investor as well. So you have rental properties, or what do you primarily do?
So I had rental properties. I actually started out after my first flip. I changed it into a buy and hold. And
Okay.
what happened is I realized that I'm not fit to be a landlord. So
Okay.
that was another
All
lesson
right.
in itself. I know like there's property management that exists obviously, but it
Mhm.
just was one of those things overall. I said I don't think I'm equipped to do. And dealing I know people that have rental properties, they're battling with people paying rent on time and
Yeah.
it really just depends. You may buy a property thinking it's a good investment. Let's say you're not able to sell it and it's in a neighborhood that's maybe a C or D class neighborhood, meaning um, those are areas that are more likely to rent than a B or A class neighborhood. So um, in these areas, people make a certain type of income. So they're kind of already, by statistics, um, more liable of not paying their rent. So you think you got a good investment, you bought it, you're not able to sell it in a certain time frame. Well, you have a loan to pay, and it's just so many different things. So just you have to make sure you have an exit strategy when you do that.
Right.
But
Makes
yeah,
sense.
I
Okay. So when you're getting into investing, essentially, make sure like, hey, what is your exit strategy? What do you want out of this? And
yeah.
then,
So
yeah.
Uh, overall, I do not have any rental properties anymore. I do not have any Airbnb. I feel like the market for that changed completely. In
Mhm.
the beginning, um, honestly, so I feel like it has certain markets where they're still kind of flourishing. Like, for example, Orlando. I feel like that's a really good area. It's always going to be touristy. People always need a place to stay when they have their family vacations and things like that. But whereas you have a
Mhm.
place like Jacksonville, it's a whole completely different dynamic. People are not coming to Jacksonville for Disneyland. Like, we don't have the same um, group of people traveling here than Orlando. So um,
Mhm.
it's so many places that have put restrictions on um, you being a resident of that particular area. And it's just a lot of trying to battle versus the state and local government laws and things like that. You don't want to mess up and one day you getting fined and you didn't even know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just think it's so much. I didn't want to do that either. Pretty much right now, I've been heavily assisting buyers and sellers. I've found that honestly, like I said, I got my license on accident. I really didn't want to get it when I first started off. I said, okay, I'll just be an investor. I want to focus on one thing and blah blah blah. And so
Right.
when I ended up getting my license, I'm getting people to call me and like, oh, I heard you're a realtor and blah blah blah. And so I'm like, who am I to tell them no? Like, why would I not want to help them? And
Yeah.
it
Why not?
actually turned out to be something that I thoroughly enjoyed. I'm really thankful because if it wasn't for that lady telling me like I should have got my license, I would have never known that it was something that I enjoyed so much. So, and both sides, you kind of, I would say every transaction has been completely different. Like you learn new things, you deal with different personalities and people, different speeds of people looking to turn in paperwork. It's all kind of different dynamics in the real estate process that you just never thought you encounter until you get the next transaction. You're like, man, this one beat the last one.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
But
As
yeah,
far as
it's a
changing,
really good.
depending on the people you're doing business with. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a really good um outlet for me. I feel like it's an emotional roller coaster, but it's a good one. You know how it is. Like until you get that clear to close, everything is like on edge for you. So
Then you put a lot of energy and everything into like getting them ready, and it's like, all right, are you
yeah,
gonna mess up the fight?
anything
Is the
can
financing
happen.
gonna fall through, or what's gonna happen? So,
Yes,
okay.
anything can happen at any given moment. Any like you really just never know. And it can be stuff out of your control and you can't do anything but
Mm-hmm.
hope that you prepared for certain situations. So,
Right. Makes sense.
but yeah. Oh, before we go, I know we got a limited amount of time left, but I just wanted to tell you guys about the events that I have coming up. So,
Yes, that's what I was
um,
leading into.
oh, okay, okay. So,
Okay, yes, but go
um,
ahead. Yeah, so go ahead. Talk about the event that you have coming up, and I'll bring up the flyer as well.
okay, so I am actually on the Whole Heart Foundation board. We decided to host a Houses and Heels brunch on May 5th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. We'll have different guest speakers, free brunch, mimosas. It's going to be a really great event. I'm super excited. So if you follow us on Instagram at the Whole Heart Foundation, then you can get your free ticket from Eventbrite. And if you're interested in becoming a vendor, it's not too late. You can email info@wholeheartfdn.org for more info, and we can get you taken care of. So, um, this is particularly for women, but if you're looking to get more information about home ownership, we're not turning men away. So, um, but like I said, we're having a panel of speakers. So everyone you can potentially think of in real estate, we have inspectors, we have realtors, it'll be lenders, credit repair specialists, just basically answering all those questions that you may have that a lot of times it's kind of hard to get all those necessary answers in the home buying process.
Mhm.
And you never know what you know until someone brings up, the questions that you may have. So come to the event, have a good time, network, and learn some information about becoming a future homeowner.
Awesome. And what are they to overall expect from the event? I
So
know you have
some
some panels. Yeah, go ahead.
So some major takeaways. You'll be able to find out if you qualify for down payment assistance. We'll have credit repair specialists there giving you some tips on basically how to prepare for the home buying process. We'll have realtors there answering questions about just different locations and expertise in their area. And the inspector is going to go over um, just the things that he looks for during a home inspection and why it's super important that you get one prior to purchasing a house. And just all these different people are just going to really lock it in to why the home buying experience doesn't have to be complicated if you have the right people on your team. So,
Well, awesome, awesome. So make sure y'all go ahead and grab your tickets for the event. It is this upcoming Sunday, Cinco de Mayo. Um, so at the Lark. And Kiara, if you before we go, if you can give people more insight on how they could get in contact with you, where they can find you, all that good stuff.
okay, well, I have an Instagram and you can follow me at open doors with key underscore. And so there, if you click the link in my bio, I have a link tree. You can contact me, you can schedule a consultation. I also have a website where you can do an MLS data search and find a home that has the criteria that you're looking for as well. So, again, open doors with key underscore. You can follow me on Facebook at Kiara Key Reeves, comma Realtor, and also follow the Whole Heart Foundation. And I'll be looking forward to seeing everybody at the event.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Kiara. Thank you for joining me on this episode and giving
Thank
this
you for having
insight
me.
and this awesome event. I'm definitely excited to be there in attendance and on the panel as well. I'm sure there's going to be heavy gyms and everything dropped on Sunday, so I'm super excited for it. But those of you tuned in, make sure that you hit the share button and subscribe to the Sipping Well channel on YouTube. And have a wonderful, amazing Sipping Well Tuesday. Have a great day,
Thank you
everyone.
so much. Have a good one, everyone.
Thank you.